Hey there, it's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware here with LG's latest flagship Android superphone, the LG V10. Built with a 5.7-inch IPS display and a 2.1-inch secondary IPS display up top, the new LG V10 offers major upgrades on a number of fronts, from build quality to specs and features. What you're looking at here is the opal blue model, though space black, luxe white, modern beige, and ocean blue colors are also available. The V10 offers significantly better build quality versus the previous generation LG G3 or even the G4, with very solid construction that feels super strong in the hand, in part due to its 316L stainless steel DuraGuard edging, as LG likes to call it. In addition, the rest of the exterior is strapped with LG's DuraSkin material that the company claims is twice as hard as plastic and 10 times stronger than aluminum in absorbing shock. It certainly feels very rugged and much more premium, and the good news is LG also maintains their removable backplate with the V10, allowing easy access to its 3000 milliamp hour battery, SIM card, and SD card slots. Speaking of which, the LG V10 sports 64 gigabytes of internal eMMC flash storage, and that micro SD card slot offers expansion for up to 2 terabytes of additional capacity. Beyond that, the processing engine on board is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 6-core processor with Adreno 418 graphics, backed up by a stout 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, pushing Android 5.1.1 Lollipop. The V10's primary display offers a 2560 by 1440 native resolution at 513 ppi over 5.7 inches, and its secondary 2.1-inch display drives 160 by 1040 resolution for a top ticker of favorite app shortcuts and utilities and controls, as well as a bit of customization for the user's name. It's a handy little widget of sorts that helps with a new way to multitask between apps, but frankly, it's not a groundbreaking feature either, sort of like we found Samsung's Galaxy S6 Edge displays, which are novel but not something we'd personally work with as a daily driver, though that's definitely more of a personal preference kind of thing. The LG V10 also supports Qualcomm's quick charge capability with its bundled high-power AC adapter, and as a side note, you can purchase an optional quick cover for the rear of the V10 which brings wireless charging, though it doesn't come standard with the device. On bottom, there's a headphone jack, a micro USB sync and charge port, a speaker port, and a microphone. Both edges of the device are completely clean with that stainless steel edging going up the side, while up top you'll find an IR blaster for remote control functionality and another mic port. But on the back side, that's where all the action is. Here you'll find a fingerprint scanner and combination home screen lock and wake button. It works relatively well, though the V10's fingerprint scanner did have some false reject issues here and there. It was functional, just not as smooth at detecting the correct print as we've seen with other devices. Also back here you'll find volume up and down buttons, as well as a rear-facing 16 megapixel camera with f1.8 aperture lens, optical image stabilization, LED flash, and laser autofocus. And of course, there's the V10's DuraSkin cover that has a patterned silicone textured finish that offers a ton of grip. The V10 is probably the least slippery smartphone we've ever handled. And again, that backplate is removable, which is a rarity these days. Finally, on front, there are actually a pair of front-facing cameras for total selfie indulgence with a 5-megapixel sensor. One lens is a standard 80-degree angle, while the other is a 120-degree wide-angle lens. These cameras can be engaged individually or simultaneously in conjunction with the rear camera even for some very unique and innovative three-way combination shots. This could be a pretty cool feature, especially when traveling, to capture both the environment around you as well as the people you're with, and of course, yourself. With all this top-shelf hardware, relatively speaking, the LG V10 is unquestionably a large device. Though its primary display is only 5.7 inches, due to its top-mounted secondary display, the V10 is about as tall as the 6-inch Nexus 6. However, it's not quite as wide, and it's also slightly thinner than the Nexus 6, though Google's device has more drastically beveled backside edges, which can be deceiving. Either way you slice it, the V10 is big, so that's one caveat, or feature, as the case may be, that you'll have to account for. The V10's 5.7-inch IPS quantum display is solid at 2560 by 1440 res with good brightness and contrast and saturation even in sunlight conditions. And though we prefer home, back, and menu control buttons on the bezel to maximize screen real estate, LG does auto-hide these buttons or makes them translucent depending on the application. Still, the V10's display can't quite catch the brightness, saturation, and pop found on a number of AMOLED devices like Samsung's Galaxy S6 line or the recently launched Motorola Droid Turbo 2. Nevertheless, it's a very nice display that most mainstream users will find more than appealing and plenty spacious. LG lightly skins Android 5.1 Lollipop on the V10, and we've actually grown accustomed to its clean, flat UI with a few extra utilities. Controls and menus are a bit large, but if you're the kind that doesn't like to hunt and peck, you might like them just fine. Contrast and color palettes are good, but we can't help but feeling like Android 5 Lollipop, or better yet, Android 6 Marshmallow, would suffice just fine for some of the menu control functions especially. However, LG did maintain its rather useful and impressive Q-Slide app feature that lets you toggle multiple apps and windows, resize them, and work with them in true multitasking fashion. Another feature of the LG V10 is its high-fidelity 32-bit DAC, or digital-to-analog converter, that does a nice job of expanding sampling rates for high-quality lossless audio sources like FLAC, WAV, and ALAC formats. It upsamples for MP3s and streaming audio formats as well. With the right set of headphones or buds, you can definitely tell the difference, and my pair of Bose IE2s couldn't have been happier about it. The camera setup of the LG V10 is impressive, to say the least. Yes, you've got some high-end optics here with its 16-megapixel shooter and f1.8 aperture lens, but LG's software and features are impressively powerful, from simple shooting modes to its timers and HDR mode, to its full manual mode with raw shooting capability and integrated social sharing functionality. Video recordings even come with controls for directional tuning of the V10's integrated mics, a wind noise filter, and even a 15-second auto-edit feature, which is just the thing for Instagram sharing and the like. And of course, there's that multi-shot mode, which can incorporate up to all three of the V10's cameras into a combined picture in a few different layouts and formats. Talk about features. The LG V10 is dialed, and image quality is also excellent, competing with some of the best smartphone cameras on the market currently. Still shots were crisp and balanced, even in low-light situations, while video also showed the same fidelity with good autofocus response and image stabilization. Performance-wise, the V10's Snapdragon 808 processing engine gets the job done nicely, even though only offering middle-of-the-pack performance in standard compute tasks and graphics or gaming. The phone routinely offered mid-range numbers in our benchmark suite, not trailing our database of test devices by much, nor leading the pack either. However, in general, the V10 felt very nimble, especially with multiple apps open and when switching between them, likely due to its 4 GB of RAM configuration. In terms of battery life, the LG V10 was able to put up with our moderate abuse of mixed usage easily on a single charge for the day. Though we haven't put it through our specific lab tests yet, the V10's 3000 mAh battery should do the job easily for most folks, and since the V10 also sports Qualcomm's Quick Charge 2.0 technology, you can still top off the device quickly or recharge it from 0 to 100% in just a little over an hour. In a nutshell, the LG V10 is a very well-equipped smartphone, from its dual front cameras to its dual screens and fingerprint reader. And while none of these extra features are make-or-break sort of items, they make for a unique, compelling device packed with the latest technologies. And of course, all these bells and whistles come at a price. The V10 retails for about $250 to $300 on contract with the major carriers, or $600 to $700 unlocked and contract-free. Compare that to the likes of the Moto X Pure Edition and the Nexus 6P at $400 and $500 respectively, and it does put the V10 at a premium, at least for now. As usual, make sure you swing by HotHardware.com for our full review, and toss in a thumbs up if you liked our coverage here, and subscribe to us as well, of course, for more product reviews, analysis, and our ever-entertaining 2.5 Geeks webcast. It's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware with the LG V10 smartphone. Thanks for stopping by.